It's again a beautiful day full of happiness and blessings, and I am back with your show, How I Made My Millions, here on One TV, and as usual, we're live on Facebook. And this show talks about how entrepreneurs and businessmen and women came about their business, how they started, and the challenges they went through before becoming the persons we see today. And this show is brought to you by GH Waves, Daviba Graphics, and CJ's Hair and Beauty Plus. My name is Kukua, Yorke. I'm going to go for a short break. When I come back, I'll do the introduction of my guest. Stick and stay. Welcome back from the break, and as I said earlier, this is the How I Made My Million show here on One TV, live on Facebook. And then let me remind you, it's brought to you by GH Waves, Daviba Graphics, and CJ's Hair and Beauty Plus. As I said earlier, I have with me the founder of Fun Ghana and also a presenter, a broadcaster at Pan-African TV, and he is in the person of Mr. Ivan Bans. So, hello, sir.
Hello.
Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, sir. Could you please tell us a little about yourself?
All right, so like you rightly said, my name is Ivan Bans, and I happen to be the founder of Fun Ghana, an organization that seeks to, as it were, advocate for persons with disability or physically challenged persons in our society. And obviously I am with Pan-African TV as a broadcast journalist. I'm hosting a political show, and so that's a little about me, I can share with you.
All right. We'd like to know how you got the idea, like how you had the idea of this business.
Okay, so like I said earlier on, Fun Ghana is an organization that seeks to, as it were, advocate for persons with disability in our society. And over the past few years, as in 3 years of establishment, we have successfully come up with, or better still, initiated, events that seeks to, as it were, advocate for persons with disability in our society. And there's a couple of things that we are doing, and it's in place, and obviously we'll bring it out soon. But basically, I'm a social entrepreneur, if I should say, a social entrepreneur. And so what earlier on, like I said, what we do is basically advocating for persons with disability. So now we transcend that into business and see how best we can, as it were, promote persons with disability in the society. So basically that's about it, and that's about Fun Ghana.
All right. What was your key driving force for becoming an entrepreneur?
All right, so like I'm saying, I'm going to tell you a short story. So now, before this whole idea came to play, there was this time when I met with my team. That was the first time we had met, and we're coming up with, we're looking out for an initiative that we believe would best, as it were, sell, or best, touch the lives of people, and of course make, impact in the lives of people. And then so we met, and then we had this discussion, and we thought of, why don't we come up with initiatives that would support disability? And even before that, I had this friend called Ale Mumuni, who is currently a part of the Ghana Amputee Football Association, and is a paracyclist, and across the world he's won a lot of medals, gold medals, silver medals for Ghana, and represented Ghana across, beyond Africa, and because beyond the borders of Africa. He happens to be my friend, and we're having a conversation around the fact that we wanted to come up with an initiative for persons with disability, but we were not too sure about it, my team and I. And so he told me that, Ivan, it's a good thing, and I think you should embark on it. And he told me something. He says that growing up, he suffered from poliomyelitis. Poliomyelitis is a virus that affects the leg. It comes as a result of polio vaccines and all that. So it shrank the leg, and thereby rendered him disabled. And he said to himself that growing up, it was a bit challenging. He didn't get anybody to support him and all that, but he said to himself that, listen, I'm going to go beyond the odds and beyond the challenges, and to make a name for myself, or make something better out of myself. And so he started, he created his own foundation called the Alemumu Foundation. Now, bear in mind that this is a guy who has suffered from this same poliomyelitis, and of course he's a physically challenged person now, and that he's been able to rise up to get to this level, creating his own foundation, and helping people who are suffering suffering from the same disease, And he said that the first time I participated in the Ghana football, playing for Ghana as an amputee, playing as part of the amputee team, they won their first match against Senegal, and of course they won their last match against Cameroon, and Ghana won the medal and won the trophy. Now, when they were coming, it felt normal because they realized that, I mean, in Ghana here, nobody supports amputee. It's all about the Black Stars and all that. Nobody supported amputee. So it felt normal until he got to the airport and he realized that there were a lot of people at the airport cheering and hooting for them, supporting them, shouting and praising them and all that. So he said to himself that for the first time in my life, even as at my stage, I get people to support me, I get people to hoot out for me, cheer for me, then it means that we are doing something positive. Then it means that it's not even about your physical appearance. It's not about what you think you are now. It's about what you can offer, what you can put on board, what you can give out. It's not about you being disabled and all that. It's about what you can let the whole world know. It's about how you can let the whole world know that, listen, given the fact that I'm disabled, I can still, as it were, show the world that I'm capable of regular activities and I can do stuff for myself. So he said he felt amazing, he felt good for himself. Going forward, he decided to engage himself in a lot of sporting activities like the paracyclist, and he has, like I said, he's won a lot of medals for Ghana, gold and silver and all that, and it's putting Ghana on the map. So when he said that to me, that was the defining moment for me. That was when I said to myself that, hey, I think then it's time for us to start coming up with initiatives that will support persons with disability in our society. And that's what brought about the birth of the Ghana Amputee Soccer Festival, where we put persons with disability who are physically challenged on board, put them into teams. We get them from the streets and all that. We don't go to their various homes or whatever. We get them from the streets and put them together, as it were, to play football match between them. And obviously we have sponsors who come on board to support these initiatives and support them and give them funds and all that. And due to that, we brought the birth of the Ghana Disability Excellence Award, which equally also seeks to award persons with disability who are in the society who are doing amazingly well for themselves. Now, this is not just about persons who are disabled, but it's about people who are equally, as it were, supporting physically challenged persons in the society. So that's the whole brief story about me and my team coming together to create an organization that seeks to support persons with disability, or better still, become that social entrepreneur that I am today. So that's the whole story about it.
All right. And how did you raise fund? How were you able to get money to put into this business?
That's a beautiful question. You know why? Because the first time we set out to organize the Ghana Amputee Soccer Festival, we didn't have any sponsor on board, and so it was left between myself and my team to raise funds to support that initiative. And so obviously, as a young guy coming up and growing up and trying to put up stuff like that, you would have to do some personal contributions and all that from friends. I'm sure you are aware of this. So we had to do some personal contributions from team members. Obviously the large chunk of the money came from myself, so we had to put in a lot of money from ourselves, from our pockets, from our accounts and all that, to put together and, as it were, make the event happen. So that's how we're able to raise money for the first one. Now, fast forward, we started now learning something that, listen, this is an event. This is an event, all right? And obviously, it wasn't going to be like all the time you have to do personal contributions, or better still, use your own money for the events and all that. There comes a point where you do that, but it's an event. Given the fact that it's a disabled event, it's still an event, and so there was a need for us to start soliciting for sponsorship and all that. So we started approaching companies, and some companies shared in the whole idea about the whole event and wanted to be a part of it. Some equally would give you excuses and all that. So but largely we got our event, or we got our sponsorship, or let's say finances, from soliciting for sponsorship from institutions or companies. So that's how we make our money. That's how we made the money to support the initiative.
All right. On this note, we take a breather. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Welcome back from the break, and this is still how I made my millions on One TV, and we're live on Facebook, and we're still talking to Mr. Ivan Bans. So welcome back.
Thank you very much.
And I would want to know, what are some of the mistakes you wish you could have avoided?
Nice. It's a beautiful question. As an entrepreneur or social entrepreneur, as I classify it, you cannot have a business, or you cannot grow a business without making mistakes. It's a part of the duty. It's a part of the job. I should say it's a responsibility. You need to go through that. A lot of people have made mistakes, and for me, I would say that one of the mistakes, top of the head, I can actually recall is, trying to build a team and trying to put up our initiatives and all that, as a leader, there are things that you need or you ought to know. And if you don't know them, or you turn a deaf eye or blind eye to it, it goes against you, or it goes against the business at the first place. And one of the things that as a leader you ought to understand is you need to be a team player. And so for me, trying to put up everything, I was not a team player. You know, I think it boils down to how I grew up, how I understand things at the first place, at the initial stage, and from my fundamentals. And so I'm much more comfortable working on my own. I'm much comfortable trying to put things in place on my own. And I do not trust easily. And so it's now depends on me to be able to put up things. And now that was going against me for a very long time, and I didn't see reasons why I should really involve a lot of people in my business and what I do, in as much as I have a lot of people, team players, team members and all that around me. But it was difficult for me to assign some specific tasks to people, okay? And so that was one of the things that was going against me. But until I sat down, and I had a lot of confrontations from people. I had a lot of education, and got to understand that as a leader, there's always a need for you to involve your people in exactly what you do. And for me, I always like to illustrate everything that I say with examples, so that we all can understand it very well. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are watching us today and would want to get inspired by what we say or what we put out there. And so one of the things that really inspired me to change my form of leadership, or my form of how I, as it were, involve my people was a quote, not necessarily a quote, but a video that I saw, and changed everything about me. Now, it was a football between two teams, okay? It was, I think it was between Serbia and Argentina, all right? And they had played the first two matches, first and second. Nobody had scored. And now there was this, what's the name? The extra time, right? Yeah. Extra time, second extra time, nobody had scored. Now, the last extra time that we were playing, within the last 2 minutes, something magically happened, all right? Now, you realize that from the inception of the games to the end, because everybody was a bit, tactical and strategic and knew how to play, they were all playing on their own, and it wasn't really helping. Everybody was doing what they could do to make sure they got the goal, but it wasn't happening. But within the final 2 minutes of the game, something extraordinary happened. Now you realize that the tactics of the whole team, that is from Argentina, had changed. Now you realize that there was a lot of teamwork happening on the field, and you could clearly tell. You didn't need any magic or any supernatural being to come and tell you that what was happening was a teamwork that they were doing. So you realize that this one played to this, pa pa pa. You know how they play their football, pa 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 pa. And our goal came. Now people were not focused on who scored the goal. Now the goal was scored by one man called Estevan Cambayasu. All right. Now this goal, these people, all the people, everybody was watching was not even focused on the game. Sorry, on the person who scored the goal, but was focused on how the goal came about. And you realize that all the commentators and everybody who spoke about the game were like, this is an amazing teamwork. Then it drew my mind back to the whole significant, lesson from that particular video, that it's about teamwork. It's not about individualistic. It's not about an individual. I think you think you know. No, it's not about it. Imagine if I know, we all know, and we come together and we put the foodstuffs there and we cook it together. Do you know how the aroma will come out to be like? It will become exceptional. But if I do it on my own, it means that this is what I'm going to do all the time, but we having different tastes, different hands on board, putting it together becomes something extraordinary and becomes something great. And so for me, growing my business and growing exactly what I do, that is what I've come to understand, that despite the challenges or whatever you go through, there's a need for you as a leader to initiate something called the team playing. Together, we all achieve more. We come together and achieve more. That's one of the things that I think, like I said earlier on, went against me, and I worked on it, and today it's not like that. And so anybody who happens to be part of my team, you realize that I give everybody, or better still, we all have equal opportunities to, as it were, to shine or to explore. So that's one of the things that I think that was a mistake, and I've been able to work on as an entrepreneur. And so I feel that there's a need for everybody to understand or know that.
Okay. All right. At what point, or how did you know that you becoming a social entrepreneur was the right idea?
this question was the right idea. I mean, I'll tell you something. Every human has 5 window seconds. You know that every human being has a 5 window seconds. All right. Right after the 5 window seconds, anything that you try to do it won't work out, unless maybe you're too determined and committed to whatever you do. Now, what I mean by 5 window seconds is that any idea that comes into your mind, and you don't take the action within that 5 seconds, and you wait after 5 seconds to 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 60 seconds, it becomes a failure. Trust me. Trust me, you have no idea. It doesn't become a failure, but it becomes something that you feel reluctant to even pursue again. But if the idea comes within that 5-second window and you pursue it, you start putting things in place. All right, I'm that kind of person. Anytime I'm seated here and I'm with my phone and I'm on the internet, on social media, looking at things, and an idea comes to mind, I quickly jot it down. Now the second thing I do is that I call one of my closest person in my team. Charlie, this idea came to play. I mean, it came to mind. What do you think about it? I think it's a good idea. Let's put it into the platform and let's discuss it. So within that 5 seconds, I've been able to initiate something, and it has now become a topical idea we have to discuss. If it doesn't happen, it happens. If it happens, it happens. But we've taken an initiative. But if you sit down and after the 5 seconds and you do not work towards it, it becomes a flop. And so that's how it happened for me. So asking me the question, how did I know that being a social entrepreneur is? I'm an entrepreneur myself. All right, I'm an entrepreneur myself. I'll tell you a bit more about my entrepreneurial aspect, but let's talk about the social entrepreneur aspect. How it came to being was that immediately I had a conversation with my team, and we decided that why don't we do something that will go in the light of disability? And quickly, I spoke to a friend of mine who is Alem, who happens to be in that sector, who has done a lot for the disability, who has been able to shine within that aspect or that circles. I realized that this is something that I need to pursue, and it would be great. And whole and behold, it has been great. And today, I can sit here and say that for the next project that we are coming to initiate, that is the Ghana Disability Excellence Award, we successfully launched it. Now we are in partnership with the Ministries of Gender. I don't think during the inception I thought that I could partner with the Ministries of Gender to execute this project. But because I took advantage of the 5 window seconds and made calls and had people to talk to, and within that time, today we are partnering with the Ministries of Gender. We have great sponsors coming on board for this initiative who are willing to take this project as long as they would want to. So this is the 5 window seconds that I'm talking about, okay? So that was the moment I realized that, listen, let me do this. And it's not even just about me, it's about everybody out there. Any initiative, any idea that comes to mind, listen, ideas rotate. I might have had an idea. Trust me, you equally might have had that idea before. But you felt reluctant in pursuing it. But I will not feel reluctant because I understand that 5 window seconds. And when I'm able to achieve it, trust me, you sit in your home and be like, I had this idea in your mind. But what happened? Because you wasted time, that 5 window seconds, you didn't take advantage of it, it went against you. And so if there's a money that I'm making out of it, that money should have been you making it, but now I'm not making that money. Do you get it? So that's exactly what I talk about.
All right, and you coming up doing something, definitely people will try to pull you down. And so we want to know how you deal with criticism and all that. How do you handle that too?
I think I've grown a tough skin for some of these things.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think I've grown a tough skin for some of these things. It's understandable. I mean, not just for entrepreneurs or not just for people who are even in the limelight or not just for people who are a bit out there like that, okay? It's understandable. Even just every human being would, even if you're a bread seller, you get it. Even if you're a bread seller, or you sell credit on the streets, the mere fact that you are doing or you are pursuing a business that somebody is equally doing the same thing, trust me, they'll hitch hard on you. So like I've always said to people that sometimes it's not about what you think, or it's not about what people think about you, it's about what you think about yourself. Okay, so obviously you get people hating on you, you get people pulling you down, people criticizing you, that. Ask yourself that, why are they criticizing me? It means that you're doing something positive. It means that you're doing something very good, something encouraging, and they would wish that they were in that same position, but they didn't have that opportunity. That should not pull you down. Now let me tell you something. What was it? Like, you clearly introduced me that I work with Pan African TV as a broadcast journalist and all that. I host a political show here called The Key Fact. I used to host an entrepreneurship show here, like what we're talking about, okay? And now it moved from hosting an entrepreneurship show to hosting a political show, all right? Now, immediately I realized that I started getting personal messages from people that I'm trying to tone the side of the NPP, trying to do the bidding of the NPP, and I'm taking sides, and I'm becoming a bit political biased and all that. And so I was like, really? I don't think I'm doing that. I think I'm being fair. I'm giving everybody an equal opportunity to express their grievances and all that. But then something happened. One evening I was working with my laptop. The laptop was actually faced this way, and I got a message, a personal message. I didn't know who it was. It was a strange number. Started giving me threats, threatening me and all that, that if I don't stop what I was doing, I didn't even know what I was doing in the first place. And I still, up to date, I still have that message on my phone, okay? Got threats from people and all that. And I became so scared. This is the first time I'm actually getting such threats, like threatening message to take my life away from me and all that. You know, when it has to do with life, it's a bit scary and all that. So I was a bit scared. I had to talk to one or two people that I knew were in the forces and all that. And they were like, oh, it's not going to be anything and all that. But at the end of the day, I said to myself that, Charlie, then I need to stop this political thing that I'm doing because my life is at stake. I have a lot to achieve and all that. And my boss, Kwame Osidanso, you just met him. Yeah. He was like, Ivan, are you serious about what you're saying, that you want to stop the show? If you're not doing something positive, I don't think they would come to you. Because you're doing something positive, that's why you're getting that kind of messages and all that. And it transformed my mind. It renewed my mind. I was like, yo, I think then I need to hit hard on them. If they want to kill me, let them kill me. So I don't take criticisms a bit personal or serious, I feel they're just doing what they want to do because they're not getting the right opportunities and all that. And for me, it's beyond what we see. It's not spiritual. Okay? If anybody criticizes you, it's not spiritual, but it's beyond what you see. Trust me, if there was nothing like poverty, there was nothing like poverty, there was nothing like, systems that are crippling us, do you think somebody would think evil of you? If I have a good job and I'm making, let's say, 10,000 cedis a month, you also have a good job, you're making 120,000 cedis a month, you think you're going to criticize me or you're going to think evil of me? No, because you're making your money, you drive your big car, you have your own apartment, you eat what you want to eat, you have good food, you have good life and all that. You don't think evil about somebody. So like I said, it's beyond what we see. It's a system that has been created that is devouring us, okay? Which is why we have first-class citizens and we have second-class citizens, okay? Now, obviously, day in and day out, the first-class citizens will be the upper hands. They will have the benefits and all that. And the low-class citizens or the second-class citizens will be the truck pushers and the armed robbers and the prostitutes and the armed robbers. But those people did not wish to be in that position. If you interview or if you have a conversation with a prostitute or an armed robber and all that, they'll tell you that they had dreams of becoming something good for themselves. But because the system did not favor them, they didn't have the kind of education myself and you we had. They didn't have the kind of opportunities we had. So now the system is going against them. And they have no option than to come and criticize you. People do not criticize by just talking. People criticize with even with guns. People criticize with trying to steal you. People criticize by going to even sleep with your husband. It's not their fault, but they need to make daily bread. It goes back to what I said, that it's a system of poverty that has created that. So if we all were living good lives, as an entrepreneur, you're helping people, bring them up so that they could also get to that same social status and equally also have that handiwork and do something for themselves. I don't think that this world will be exactly what it is, or we wouldn't have the question you're even asking me now, that how do people even criticize me at the first place, or how do people try to pull me down, and how do I even deal with it? So basically it's about the system, and like I said, it goes beyond what we think or what we see.
All right. What do you think your business, or what impact do you think your business is having on society now?
Well, it's amazing. It's extremely amazing. Trust me. Like I said, during the inception of our conversation, I told you that, especially with the Ghana Amputee Soccer Festival, that has had a lot of massive even that event. I even had criticism from even people from the top. You realize that even this year like this, we've not even put up that event because of one or two reasons. It's supposed to be annual. It's supposed to be an annual event, but this year we've not even put up that event, and it's been a lot of stress up and down, because people at the top who take care of amputees, or better still, people who have got one leg, think that there's this young guy called Ivan who just came in and wants to take away our business and is trying to sway away the minds of all these people and make them feel like he's the best and he can help the persons with disability. And at a point in time, they even called me for a meeting and wanted to make me the president for the Amputee Football Association, and I rejected it because I'm just young. I didn't start pursuing this whole project to get to become a president or something. Okay, I'm just doing it for what I feel it should be done, or what I feel is the right thing to be done. Do you get it? And so, going back to what I was saying, we have successfully, as it were, about 10 or 15 of these amputees who are on the streets. We've been able to bring them up, and now today they are part of an amputee team in Ghana here, who, even if they're not getting anything, they're getting allowances from the team and all that. So day in and day out, monthly they get allowances, and monthly they are playing football across Africa and all that. And I feel it's a good achievement, being able to bring about 10 or 15 people who are on the street, who are begging from the streets, and today at least they have something to eat. It's a good thing. And I'll talk of the awards itself, trying to award people who are not even in the limelight, but who are physically challenged, but are doing extremely well for themselves. I think it's about time we let the whole world know that there are people who are physically challenged but are doing amazingly well for themselves, and they need that limelight, they need that projection and all that. And so, if we believe in the ideologies of Kwame Nkrumah, who says that to have a good, economy, or better still, for an economy to thrive, there was a need to involve every person in the society, every sector of person in the society, being it market women, being it children, being it physically challenged persons, being it disabled, being it the normal proletariat, being it the working class, and everybody. There's a need for us to come together consolidatedly and work to achieve the good Ghana that we want to have, or the better Ghana that we want to have.
All right, we do another break. We've actually. Welcome back from the break, and the conversation still continues with Mr. Ivan Banks. Hello, sir. We want to also know how has being a social entrepreneur affected your family life.
Okay. All right. So, being a social entrepreneur, I think, has not really affected my family life. Now, when we started this whole trying to build something for ourselves, obviously you understand that the typical African father and a typical African mother would not agree to that. That, no, I took you to school to learn, I want you to become the banker, I want you to become this and all those things, But we had different, direction. We wanted to achieve something different for ourselves. But I think it took time. There was a need for us to put in a lot of effort, to be more determined, to work hard for our family, better still our mother and our fathers to believe in what we were doing. So I think for now, parents are okay, they understand what we are doing, they are equally proud of us. But gone are the days when we started, they didn't really see any, they didn't see any light in what we were doing. But now, because of what we've been able to achieve so far, I think they are now believing in what we're doing, and I think it's a step in the right direction.
Okay, so where do you see yourself and your business in the next 5 or 10 years to come?
Wow. Where do I see myself or my business?
Yourself and your business.
Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? Well, I see myself in the next 5 years to becoming the Bill Gates of our time. Yes, that's myself. See myself to becoming the Bill Gates of our time, obviously. And for my business, I think because of how it all started for me, I think I have that heart in helping people. A lot of people would think that we, as it were, enter into some of these initiatives, or better still start this project just for the financial benefits or the financial gains. But there's more to it than that. There's always blessings, and there was always that self-satisfactory, that inner satisfactory thing when you help somebody, or you elevate somebody, somebody that obviously is down, which of course it's very evidential in everything that we have done over the past few years. We established our organization. You realize that we have obviously helped a lot of people, specifically physically challenged persons, to get to the top, and obviously get that recognition that they ought and they deserve to have. So see myself or see my business in the next 5 years. I want the Ghana Disability Excellence Awards to be one of the most recognized events in Africa, and obviously in the world. to be recognized as one of the events that seeks to bring out persons with disability or physically challenged persons who are doing amazingly well for themselves across Africa and across the whole world. Obviously we have the Ghana Disability Excellence Awards. I mean, as time goes on, you might never know, it could be the African Disability Excellence Awards. I mean, it's all about working hard and getting there. So basically that's why I see the event, helping people, trying to expose the ills of within the disability sector, trying to let the whole world know that, listen, physically challenged persons are not just any or regular people. They are capable of regular activities. They are capable of managing their own affairs. They are capable of doing good for themselves. So basically, that's what I see. That's how I see the event.
Okay. Your final words. What would you like to say to somebody out there who would want to become like you, or even more than you are? What would you like to say to them?
A lot of time when I get to this particular question and I'm being asked that, what would I want to say to people who want to be like me? I don't think anybody should be like me. I think I'm just one I'm just one in this world. Nobody can be like me. But I think people should fight to be the best of themselves. Everybody has whatever he brought here. And so there's a need for us to work hard to discover ourselves, discover who we are, discover our purpose, and discover exactly why we are here on this earth. I always say that, listen, we have about 99 million sperms fertilizing the egg, okay? But it so happens that, or so fortunate that just you were able to fertilize your mom's egg or your mom's womb for you to come out, okay? So you coming out means that there's a greater purpose for your existence, or the greater purpose for your living. And so there's a need for you to equally, fight hard to know who you are, and fight hard to get to know exactly why you are here. Everybody has got his own destiny. You are needed for the equation, okay? If you're working on the equation, you obviously need something to balance something to get that equation, that correct equation, okay? So we are all part of the equation. We need to work hand in hand to get to wherever we're getting to. And so that my final words, I would say that there's a need for us to fight to becoming the best of ourselves. We need to be determined with everything we are doing, fight hard to get to where we are doing, and push hard. Obviously it's not easy out there, but the moment you come to that realization that it's not easy, but at the end of the day there's a light at the end of the tunnel, nothing can stop you. You'd work hard, you'd push hard, so that at least at the end of the day you'd get to that tunnel where the light is bright and all the light is shining.
All right, thank you so much for talking to us. Finally, this is where we end today's show, and we got talking to Mr. Ivan Barnes, founder of Fun Ghana and broadcaster at Pan-African TV. And as he said, whatever you want to do, just fight hard, push, be determined, and you will be able to get it. And this is how you made your million show on One TV and live on Facebook. And this program was brought to you by Daviba Graphics. They are into graphics and design. So for all your banners, flyers, backdrop, just go to Daviba Graphics. And also GH Waves as an entertainment blog. So for all your entertainment information, just log on to www.ghwaves and you get all your information. And also for my makeup is by CJ's Hair and Beauty Plus. She is located at Dome Pillar 2. A very thank you to my producer and my technical team. My name is Kukua. Till same time tomorrow. I'm out.